Welcome to Dipping Milk in Cookies with your hosts Garrett Cookie Smith and Michael Milkman Segovia. Go ahead and cue that outro.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Dipping Milk and Cookies. Guys, I am Garrett, your Cookie Commander Smith. With me as always, Michael, Master Milker Segovia. What up, player?
Not much, man.
Go Bucks.
Yeah, let's keep it simple.
Yeah, go Bucks. How's the week been, man?
It's been long. Feels long.
Yeah.
Every week feels long, bro.
Yeah, especially nowadays. I can wholeheartedly concur. Those this whole year, again, I keep saying it, we've been doing this since October, this whole year, aside from this podcast and the band, this whole year is just done. It's just done. I'm so over it. It's just been one thing after another, one hit, and another one, and another one. But luckily, though, this is starting to progress in a direction that I definitely saw, for sure. But the how quickly it's happening, that's the exciting part. So yeah, actually, this will be the last recording in Studio DMC adjacent Mark II, and then hopefully we'll be over in the ring where Reflection of Flesh did the live stream 66 days and 6 feet apart. If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube, check that out because it was choice. But yeah, eventually we'll be in the ring. I know I'm gonna end up talking to Paul about it today because I'm gonna be over doing the Bubbler Bash thing. So I'll definitely talk to him about it a little bit then. But yeah, that's the only thing that keeps me going, baby. It's exciting. It's exciting. But yeah, so I mean, aside from the week being slow, anything exciting, engaging happening in the Segovia household? Nope.
Nah, man. It's the same stuff. You know, kids breaking everything. They gotta buy new stuff, then they break it again. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, everything's A-okay, I guess. Everybody keeps turning off the damn air in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping, and I wake up, I'm just like, oh, God, I'm so hot.
So you kind of feel like you do right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying, I should have brought some paper towel to dab my sweat, because, yeah, it's pretty toasty back here. Yep, thank you, Alex. Yeah, aside from this, my week's been pretty boring as well. Good man.
Yeah, this week wasn't like anything special. There was no big events or anything like that.
Dab up here. Dab up.
Woo! This week they're doing construction on my road.
Again?
Yeah.
It's like perpetual construction. It's always happening on 96, dude.
Dude, I don't.
But that road is jacked up, though.
That's what they're doing. They're gonna repave it too.
Good. Because, yeah, I've coming out of your driveway, especially if I back into it, going out, if you don't catch the angle right, every time. And I'm pretty sure I'm about to rip something out of the, underneath, off the undercarriage of my car. I can see something kind of, hanging. But, God, that coffee's good. That is good coffee. Where'd you go to get that?
Click Table.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
Not sponsored.
No.
Not yet.
So yeah, I figure we'll just jump into it. Today's guest, Taylor Dufferin, aka Taylor Flows, is a professional flow artist right here in Milwaukee. She's a huge influencer in the flow arts community with an Instagram following of over 55,000 strong and only getting bigger. Studio DMC welcomes Taylor Dufferin. Where is she? She's supposed to be here.
I don't know.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the podcast. Well, Taylor, thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. Again, it's really exciting for us because we've done nothing but interviews with associates, acquaintances, like my dad and the band, this guy. So it's super exciting for you to be here. I searched because like obviously the hooping community, I obviously am aware of it, but I'd never had like actually done any kind of like research into it. So I did search hooping community like on Google, and fourth result was you. So
Really?
that's pretty cool. What is that? Madhoops.com. That was the big site that I saw that you were featured on quite a bit. Is that your like website, or is that just
No, that's actually a friend of mine's.
Okay.
I think it's Mad About Hoops or something like that. She runs like a
yeah.
yeah, it's like a website where she runs like an after-school program, and she features like other hoopers and tutorials on her website. So it's just like a collective of information for hoopers.
That's cool. That's cool. So I suppose we'll just get the basic questions out of the way real quick. Taylor, how long have you been doing this?
I started hula hooping in March of 2014.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been doing it pretty consistently since.
Oh man.
Pretty consistently since then.
Okay. What got you into hula hooping?
Oh man, so I was in college and I was procrastinating looking for music to listen to while I was studying. And I was really into like the EDM community then, and I looked into I can't remember exactly what the song was, but I was just looking on a search for just EDM music, and this hula hooper popped up, and her name is Grace Good. And I watched her video, and that was the first time I ever saw anything like that. And I literally ordered my own hula hoop within the hour after watching that video. I was like, I'm going to do this.
I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
And I eventually dropped out of college and just started doing that like
Full time?
all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. And that's funny, you kind of beat me to it already. I got a question on you, who is Grace Good?
Yeah.
So you kind of explained that already. So obviously you were... So your introduction to hula hooping was just basically on a whim.
Exactly, yeah,
Okay.
by chance.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. You wanna open that guy up? Or?
Yeah, I was letting you do it. Well, actually, that kind of leads into one of my questions then. So what's the best music for you to hoop to?
Oh man, it varies a lot. People, people assume that it's like EDM for me, but I actually really love hooping to like classical music. Sometimes I hoop to like metal. Sometimes just like alternative rock music. It just kind of varies on the mood that I'm feeling for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I can say next time you're feeling that metal vibe, Reflection of Flesh, find one of those songs. And if you do it, film it and send it to us.
Yes, awesome.
So who are some of your favorite hoopers?
Grace Good is definitely still up there for me. She's been an incredible inspiration and like the first hooper that I saw that was able to make a full-time career out of hula hooping. Because when the scene started, it was more of just like a hobbyist community. You know, it wasn't something that you could actively make income off of. You could create like a lifestyle off of, but she was the first one that I saw that kind of like trademarked that in the hula hoop community and like made it more of a serious thing. So she's my number one inspiration for sure. A couple of my really good friends that I've met through hula hooping and through teaching at retreats have also become like my biggest inspirations. Her name is Alexis Collier, aka Dizzy Dynamic on Instagram. And there's a couple others international as well, like Hooping Mad. She's from Bristol, UK. Lila Chupa Hoops is from France. And Helly Hoops from Australia as well. So the community is very big. There's inspiration literally in every single
Everywhere.
country.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That is pretty cool to think about that. It's worldwide.
Yeah, it really is.
So yeah, talking about like making money and like doing shows, you know, because obviously it's not conventional like being in a band or being a comedian or anything like that. What are some of like your prior events, the biggest ones that you've been at or that you performed at?
Yeah, so a lot of my biggest events have actually been through teaching rather than performing.
Okay.
I was invited to teach at the Hoop Dream Retreat Malaysia in 2016. And then
Sick.
from there, I went to teach at Rendezvous in France, Alpine Hoop
Just sounds
Convention in
French.
Austria, Hoop West in Canada. There's so many it's like basically hula hooping has become like yoga essentially. You know how there's retreats all over the world where you can go to learn from different teachers, all different styles. So that kind of made it like a big segue to have events like that, and that was kind of like my big break as like a teacher in the community.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
so cool. It makes me so salty now. It's like, bro, you've done international tours and like I haven't broke out of the Midwest yet. Put in a little wah-wah sound effect right there. No, that's all right. That's cool though.
So is that kind of what helped you get the idea to kind of offer the programs that you do through the Lakefront Fitness then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was definitely my inspiration to start teaching here in the States, because my first gig was teaching in Malaysia, so that was kind of nerve-wracking. I had to teach like an hour-and-a-half class to people who, like, most of them did not have English as their first language, so it was a huge learning curve for me to be more expressive and expansive with movements rather than like verbally
Using your words,
announcing cues. So that helped me grow as a teacher a lot, and then I got requests eventually to do workshops in Milwaukee and like places around the United States, so that was a good segue into getting into that.
That's so cool.
Thank
That's
you.
so cool. So yeah, we kind of already crushed a couple of my questions here. Tell us about Instagram. That's it's blowing my mind. 55,000 followers. Like, that is, you're technically an influencer on Instagram. That's bananas. Like, how did that happen?
Oh, that's so wild when people use that word, because I don't even consider myself like an influencer really. My boyfriend at the time, like when I started hula hooping, literally had to like pull my hair and teeth to get me to get an Instagram. I was like, yeah, whatever. Instagram's not that big of a deal. You know, I don't really need it to be an artist. Like, and so I made an Instagram, and eventually it kind of became my practice log. So like, with movement arts, it's very effective to like watch yourself on video if you're like, because I was self-taught through a lot of my journey. So recording myself and watching myself through video was like the way that I kind of ironed out a lot of ideas and concepts with hula hooping, like creating straight lines, nailing tricks correctly. So I kind of posted on it consistently for that reason alone. And then it became so much more of a thing than I ever expected. I think like within like 2 years, I ended up getting like 10K followers, and then it just like, the more followers I get, the more exponentially like it grew.
Yeah, it's just a snowball. It just keeps
That's
getting
what
bigger
we're
and
waiting
bigger.
on.
I know, right? That's like straight up, man. I know as soon as you share this on your Instagram, like I'm hoping we get some more followers, man. Because yeah, that's the one thing that I feel like we've struggled with the most is like the social media presence. I mean, obviously we've only been doing this for not even a year, but yeah, I want it now. I want it now.
The thing is to stay really consistent and to engage your followers as well. That was one thing that like I found out was a huge learning curve, is interacting with accounts that are like yours, you know, commenting on things, encouraging other people on the internet is a really good way to organically grow. Posting, staying consistent, making stories, also giving back too was a huge thing. Like I have a few sponsors that I work with, and we kind of interacted to do giveaways.
Okay.
So like maybe like doing giveaway tickets to your shows or something like that. Like that will really help growth with Instagram.
Most engaging. That's smart. See, and that's why she's got 3,500 followers, man. And with me, I just literally just made like my first Instagram post the other day. But that was my that was the podcast page. It's a work in progress, right? It's a slow build. It's a slow build.
I'm really curious about your tattoos.
Oh.
I was gonna say I knew that you had some tats, but jeez.
Yeah, I have a lot of them.
So is there some stories behind these?
So actually, two of my really, really, really good friends did most of my work. My friend Kelly out of Kenosha, she works at Tallulah Tattoo, did pretty much everything that you see right now, all of my arms, my chest piece. She did my stomach. And then my other friend is Simon. He's out of Denver. His name is Oriented Art on Instagram, and he did my whole like leg tattoos that you see here.
God, that's wild.
Yeah.
I got my fair share of tattoos as well.
Oh, you have some
like,
pretty cool tattoos too.
Yeah, but God, on the gut.
Oh, it was rough for sure.
I'm too fat for that, man. I'm way too fat for that.
It's like a very pinchy feeling too.
Oh, I'm
It's
sure.
super pinchy.
Sure, it tickles. Yep,
Yeah.
Yep. What else you got there?
So who are some of the other coaches that you work with at Lakefront?
So I just have one other coach with Lakefront with hula hooping. There's like a bunch of other different coaches. So we do yoga, boot camp, and then hula hooping's the last program of the day, and then they're going to be adding a lot more next year. But my friend Abby Lloyd is actually the other hoop teacher with me that I brought on. And then there are a couple yoga teachers, Rachel Bowler, Kathy, I'm slipping on names.
Ooh,
There's,
she's
yeah,
gonna
and
be
I'm
so
slipping on
mad.
names.
She's gonna be so
Trevor and Julie are the boot camp coaches, but yeah, I mainly just focus on like the hooping part, obviously.
That's all. Well, explain a little bit more about Lakefront Fitness.
Yeah, it's a really awesome program that happens every Sunday. So there's a yoga class at 10 a.m., a boot camp class at 11, and then my hooping class at 12. So it's a very affordable way to kind of get exercise into your routine. The classes are only $5, which is insanely cheap, especially for yoga, boot camp, well, all the classes really, because usually with private lessons and stuff, I charge like around like $35. So if you think about that, it's a really, really, really good opportunity to get into something new, whether like, you've never tried yoga or boot camp or hula hooping. It's a fantastic segue to like start new hobbies and fitness adventures.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
First one's free too, I believe, right?
Yeah, exactly,
Nice,
exactly. Yeah,
nice.
and we always pass out coupons to friends and stuff. So
I saw that. I was like,
Yeah.
I might just go try that out.
yeah, it's awesome. You definitely should.
Should.
Yeah, right. I've been trying to get this guy to go to the gym or do something for ever. Now you can become a hula hooper.
There you go. Yeah.
His hips don't lie, buddy.
So Lakefront Fitness, that like, is there like a dedicated spot that you guys do all your tutorials or your classes and whatnot, or is it just kind of like a floating thing where you just kind of go wherever you want?
So technically, we have like a spot that we would meet outside. I think it's like Lakefront Park. It's like a state park right across from the Summerfest grounds. So we usually meet there, but we actually had to move it to Bradford this weekend, so it's happening at Bradford Beach tomorrow. But as for online classes, I actually use a platform called Patreon. I don't know if you guys have heard of that before. Yeah, so it's actually really cool. It's a way for artists to like post their content, whatever it be, whether it's like tutorials, editing packs for like cameras or video editing, just all sorts of stuff. Even like models like sell like content on there. Like it's basically like a full spectrum platform for artists to like sell their art or like ways to make art. So I've started using that personally for my Taylor Flows business. And I've been posting, like, I think I have over 100 tutorials on there so far for people ranging from just starting to pick up a hula hoop to like advanced levels.
To master.
Yeah, that's honestly been my full-time job as of late. So because teaching retreats and everything are on hold right now, so I've been pretty crazily impacted by this COVID thing, like everyone else has.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I was supposed to teach in London at the end of September this year and do a workshop there, and then a festival in Bristol called Swoop, which is just like a big flow arts festival. So I've had to adapt into a more online platform, so Patreon has been absolutely wonderful for that.
Yeah. No, I've definitely heard of Patreon, and it's nice to know that even though COVID has effectively canceled 2020, it's still nice to hear that artists are still making it work, and that's the craziest part about it is the evolution of like how people digest and consume art is like it's evolving at such a weird rate right now, but it's really exciting, and it's cool to hear when people are doing it right, and clearly Taylor, you're doing it right.
Oh, thank
so
you.
That's super cool. Cool.
It's crazy how this pandemic has really forced creatives to become even more creative. I think I'm
Exactly.
sure you guys have kind of had the same thing happen, but
No,
you
nobody listens to us.
Not yet.
don't gotta
Not
worry
yet.
about
Not yet.
not yet.
Yeah,
That's,
not yet.
That's the word.
We'll be okay for the next pandemic. We'll be good then.
Yeah. So hooping merch was at the hoopjunkie.com. As far as like merch goes, do you guys have like custom hoops and everything like that?
Yeah, so there are a billion hula hoop shops out there. Hoop Junkie is one of like a big established hoop company. I'm actually sponsored by a couple different companies. There's a company called Mood Hoops, and there's a company called the Spinsters that I actively work with, and I actually designed, it's kind of my version of merch. I'm working on, releasing t-shirts and everything that Alex helped create a logo for. But I got the opportunity to create a custom hula hoop with the Spinsters. This is actually it. So I designed this hula hoop. It's a sectional hula hoop. So there's 4 different pieces. And it's a black sparkle and then green. Black and green is kind of like my logo and trademark.
Gotcha.
For my brand Taylor Flows. So
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I always think it's super cool when again artists have custom pieces like our drummer. He's endorsed by Scorpion Percussion, so he's got his own signature stick, like his signature on it with the band logo. Like that's so cool.
so awesome.
So like it's only a matter of time if you don't already have that, where you'll have the Taylor Flows custom model.
Yeah.
And you got the signature on it with the sparkle black and green.
Yes.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. I can't even remember the last time I tried to hula hoop. My big fat ass.
Yeah, I would say probably back in school when you just like something to do for gym class.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I think they had like that challenge. It was like Hoop for Heart. Do you guys remember that? Did you have that at all?
I remember jump rope for heart.
Yeah, I think they had like a hula hoop for heart where you like hula hoop the longest and you got like a piece of fruit or something. I can't remember what it was.
You won! Congratulations! Enjoy your apple.
The grand prize.
Gee, thanks. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So what's the future? I mean, obviously the future is very, very day by day right now, but theoretically 2 years from now everything is quote unquote back to normal. Where do you see Taylor Flows?
Oh man, that's a really good question. Probably still super active on Patreon, doing the online platform as well as doing a U.S. tour and maybe even like an international tour by then. It's one of my biggest goals to teach in Asia again. I haven't been there in a while, and maybe Australia. So Israel, Australia, back in Bali or Malaysia.
That's so awesome.
Just being back around there and doing consistent workshop
Yeah.
tours, because that's kind of like where I thrive. The internet thing is really cool and doing Skype lessons is awesome, but there's something like, with just interacting with people that I feel like everyone's just been, lacking lately. So it's like super in there for me to, get around and do a tour and interact with these people like face to face rather
Yeah.
than just through, the internet.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, you're making do with what you have.
Exactly,
So,
like
and
we all are right
that's-
now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how did you partner with Dr. Hutton? Is that how you say it? Hutan? I found that on your page.
I have no idea who Dr. Hutton is.
Oh, all right. Well, that was something I saw on your Facebook page. I'm sorry. Maybe that's something to do with Lakefront. Actually, I think that's what it was. I was looking on the Lakefront page.
Oh, I think
and
that's his chiropractor.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Well, we could just scratch that one. Let's see here. So, but now it's going to be a permitted event next year, though, right?
Yeah,
So
yes.
you guys would be able to, because I thought I saw something that you guys had to move, so that was just for this weekend you only had to move?
Yeah.
And then you'll be there as like a regular thing next year,
Yep,
right?
yep, next year.
Cool.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Well, what else you got?
Today you actually have an event happening today. Right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
Bradford
yeah.
Beach. What is it? Taylor Flows at Bradford Beach. There was one other performer,
Abby.
Abby.
Yeah, my teacher with Lakefront, and it's a promotion activity through or for Lakefront and Wear Out events.
Okay.
So the same guy who runs Lakefront runs an entertainment company called Wear Out, which is essentially going to be a platform to find the fun things to do in Milwaukee. So I'm going to be one of their performers for that event. So providing hoop go-go, hula hoop dancing, fire performing for local events in Milwaukee and local venues. So this is going to be kind of a performance opportunity to promote those two companies together.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now you did just mention some crazy acts there with like the go-go and the fire stuff. Have you ever done any of that fire stuff before?
Oh yeah, that's actually my performance specialty. That's the teaching is just regular teaching, obviously just instructing. But performances, I usually classify that as fire performing. So
Okay.
I do hula hoops that are on fire. I do dragon staff, which is this big staff with 4 wicks on each side, so it's a lot of fire. Fire fans, some fire eating,
That's gnarly.
and also fire poi. So yeah, that's definitely. So
Like
fire
the-
poi is like
It's like
the.
nunchucks with
the
fire.
yeah, kind of. It's like a
Oh.
long string with like just a big wick of Kevlar,
Oh,
and then
okay.
you just kind of like fling them around and stuff.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. How did
They
oh
do
man.
that a lot, like in the islands, right?
Yeah, like Hawaii and tropical locations are super
Oh,
apparent
okay.
for
Yeah,
that.
no, I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
they
Yeah,
have
it's
them
a
at like high-end
ceremonial thing.
hotels too.
Yeah, yeah.
It's awesome.
So how many times have you burned yourself?
That is the question that I get the most, I think,
Yeah.
from fire performing. I've burnt myself a couple times really, really badly. Because
Yeah.
when I first started, I was just like, yeah, I'm totally just going to get into this. Didn't really, like, look into it too much. I was like,
Didn't
it's
respect it.
pretty, like, yeah, exactly. I was like, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to, dip these wicks in gasoline and light them on fire and see what happens here.
That's the equivalent of the guy not reading the instructions and just like throwing them in the garbage. Like, I can figure this out.
Exactly.
I got it.
Yeah,
I got it.
definitely learn the hard way on some things because with
Yeah.
with a hula hoop, if you hold it in a position for too long, the plastic of the hula hoop actually starts to burn and melt and like warp, so it moves while you're holding it. So
Mm-hmm.
I had that happen, and it burned my leg pretty badly. I still have a scar to this day, and it was like 4
Damn.
years ago.
Man, that's gnarly.
Yeah, but it's fun. I really wouldn't trade fire performing for any other type of performing. Like I do LED performing, so like light up hula hoop.
Yeah, I've watched some of your content.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my favorite ones because the visuals of like a dark setting with that LED hula hoop just going hard in the paint all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, it looks super cool because there's almost like a tracer kind of effect just because it's going so fast. Like yeah, that's cool. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
and those LED hula hoops get really extensive. They have something called like smart hoop technology. So they create patterns when you're creating those trails. So they have like Super Mario patterns, Pokemon patterns,
What?
like crazy mandala patterns. Yeah, and these hula hoops are like $500+.
Wow.
Yeah,
Whew, $500 for a hula hoop.
yeah.
But no, I suppose so. Just I've spent ridiculous amounts of money on my guitar equipment, so like I can't knock it. I can't knock it at all. But that is crazy, $500.
Yeah, the company that I'm sponsored by, Mood Hoops, is actually one of my favorite smart hoop providers. They have, I think it's like over 50 patterns, and they have like the capability to like make your own patterns as well. So like design your own light patterns and everything. I'm not, computer or tech savvy enough to do any of that, but they have the capabilities.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You learn something new every day, man.
$500 hula hoops. Never would have
I'm
known.
totally.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I have got to go down that rabbit hole. I have to see some of these things 'cause that's crazy. But either way, it makes sense. Let's see what. Give us your best story, your best hula hooping experience, as far as like where you really, really felt like moved from hooping.
Oh man, that's super simple, honestly. Super simple. So before
push.
I started getting into the teaching circuit, I went to my first hula hoop retreat as a student.
Mm-hmm.
And the first hula hoop retreat that I ever attended was in Bali. And I had never really had just like a hobby that brought people together, like doing the same thing. Like throughout high school and stuff, I played sports. It didn't really feel like the same thing. People just normally do sports because they're just like, this is a good thing for me to do. I should just do it.
There's no passion behind it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like I really felt like I was at a point in my hula hooping, career at that time that I was ready to, meet other people and, learn in more of a retreat setting. So I went. And I was just like, yeah, it's just going to be me and a few girls, like, hanging out and hula hooping. It's not going to be a big deal. But, like, I went there, and it was probably the thing that ignited my love for hula hooping and my love to, like, make this into something that I can do all the time.
Yeah.
Because with the retreat that I went to, it was the Hoop Tree Retreat, which was the retreat that next year they ended up asking me to come back as a teacher. So I had come to attend it as a student, and I had just expected we were all just gonna like hang out. It wasn't gonna be like a big deal. We were gonna learn tricks, and at that point I had never been to like a hula hoop class either. So this was like my first for everything in the hula hoop community. So I went there, and it actually ended up not just being hula hoop classes. There was actually a like journaling, kind of like philosophy course with it too,
Okay.
which Hula hooping, like much like yoga, is very much more than just the movement. You know, it's connecting like your body and breath to movement, like with intention. And that retreat definitely opened my eyes to that. That it's so much more than just a hobby. It's so much more than playing with a hula hoop. It has the capability to really open you up to a lot of things, like, you know, lessons within yourself, lessons with other people. So incorporating that into my hooping has been like a huge intention for me since that experience. So it really changed it all for me. And I just remember we were all just hanging out and like journaling our intentions for the day, what we wanted to learn. And it made me feel like it was something so much bigger than myself, you know, just to have this event where people come from literally all over the world.
That's the coolest
To
part.
do this, like, this, it seems so silly and childish, but to just come and hula hoop together, it's just like, it's huge.
That's
No,
that's
that
so
sounds
cool.
right. I mean, you got people that go to like conventions dressed up like, you know, characters from all kinds of shows, games, and stuff. So
Yeah, no, everybody.
see something like that, yeah,
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah, I was so naive to that fact at that time. I was just blown away. I was like, wow, this is huge. And it really reinforced for me that everybody needs a creative hobby in some way, whether it's, you know, painting, drawing, making music, hula hooping. Like, I think that's really what bring people together and keep people sane, especially like during this time in the world. Like, everybody needs that right now.
Needs something. Needs something.
Yeah.
For sure. How stoked were you when they asked you to come back as a teacher the next year?
Oh my god, I flipping lost it. I was just like, whoa, yes, like totally. And they were actually doing a fire hula hoop retreat that year too. So I went early and like I ended up hanging out in Malaysia for a whole month.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I went there for the fire retreat the first 5 days, and then I taught the middle retreat that happened, and then they had like a second retreat that I just kind of stayed for and hung out. But it was incredible. I will never forget that experience of like, you know, confirming that I'm going to be teaching at an international retreat for my first like teaching gig. It was insane. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, do you got anything left?
So, doing the hooping and like doing a lot of stuff in Asia and around the world, you learn different techniques and how to like move your body more. Like, do you incorporate like belly dancing somewhat into your hooping, like the movements and like the strength training, I guess?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of different elements that hoopers use to like connect hooping and like create different styles. Yoga is definitely one of them. Belly dance is definitely another one, like more like a fusion style belly dance, and other different styles of dance are all possible to incorporate with a hula hoop, which is crazy. But I personally incorporate like a lot of yoga and like stretching extensions into my flow, and sometimes I'm like I dabble in belly dance a little bit, just like amateur kind of messing around. So sometimes I'll do like some undulations in hoop flow and stuff like that, but nothing too serious.
It looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Like I said, I watched probably like 20, 25 of your videos, and like they're all just really, really good.
Thank
really
you.
good. Makes sense why you have all these followers, man.
I appreciate that.
So yeah, with that being said, we should probably wrap it up because it is getting really hot back here. But yeah, please, before we do, tell everybody, all 5 listeners, where you're gonna be, all your socials, spread it all.
Yeah, so I'm Taylor Flows on Instagram. It's at Taylor_flows. I also have a Patreon account if you're interested in learning how to hula hoop. It's just www.patreon.com/TaylorFlows. There's no underscore in that one. Those are my 2 main platforms that I use to interact with people. I do have a Facebook page as well that's not as active right now. It's just Taylor Flows, and my name is Taylor Dufferin.
Right on, perfect.
Thank you.
So make
Thank
sure
you
you
for
guys
having me.
Yeah. Swing by Taylor's pages, get the likes, make sure you get the shares in there. Swing by Lakefront Fitness, make sure you give them a like and share as well. And while you're at it, make sure you go to Dippin' Milk and Cookies and give us a like and share. But yeah, Taylor, again, thank you so much for doing this. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to have you back, you know, and once things have calmed down a little bit and
In a
you
cooler
kinda-
setting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm
Yeah,
sweating back
exactly.
here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We'll definitely have to have you back once we get to the new studio.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, until next week, what are we gonna do next week?
Try to take over the world.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'll get my notebook. I I got my notebook over there. We'll figure it out. But until then, everybody be good, stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands. Love you, buddy.
Love you too, bro.
All right, guys. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.